When he told you to watch that documentary about how tours like break up families.
Yeah.
Coming up on the Summer House After Show.
I haven't had sex since last summer.
What?
Yeah.
Well, I have, clearly.
But you probably had never gone that long in your adult life.
Are there any girls you're excited about?
Like, am I about to date anyone? No.
I don't think you know who would be happy to hear that.
You're giving me like lemur energy.
You like lemurs?
Very much.
I'm sorry, what?
At the party, she was making eyes. I don't know at everybody, but she was definitely making eyes at me.
The Summer House After Show starts right now.
You and Craig have not a tense dinner in the city, but
Yeah, not a fun one.
I want to make sure that as we continue to get busier, you're about to go on tour, that we like continue to make each other and our relationship a priority and we don't let it slip.
Honey, we are not concerned about you and prioritizing the relationship. Like, you are, she does prioritize the relationship.
She supported
She
everything that he
literally-
does.
She
Everything.
literally-
This girl has stood in the Sewing Down South store and done meet and greets.
She's constantly just like having to be a mother to this man, and it's
Design
like,
the whole house.
enough is enough.
I think obviously when you're in it, you can't
Yeah.
see it the way you see it when you're out of it or the way your friends see it. And I think I loved him so much that I tolerated too much. And now that I'm
Yeah.
out of it and I look back on things, I'm like, oh, wait. Anytime I had like a career milestone, he found a way to like make it about him.
I know you're gonna choose work 10 times out of 10 right now in our lives, but if we were married and we had kids, like you can't choose work all the time.
Or
laugh
anytime
about
there
it.
was something and it was like for me, it was my friend's wedding or a family wedding, he would find a way to like make it about him and make me have a bad time. And like, it was just embarrassing. And so that's something that I look back on now and I'm like, oh wow, I really was very blinded. I had to like do a lot of damage control while I was the one performing and like about to go out on stage. So when I started having panic attacks this fall while I was doing
Yeah.
Giggly Squad, he just thought it was because I worked too much. So it played into like his like, well, you work too much and you like shouldn't like be doing all of this.
and he never comprehended, oh, maybe I'm contributing to this stress.
No,
This
it would
anxiety.
never be his fault, no.
When he told you to watch that documentary
Yeah.
about how tours like break up families.
After I had my panic attack, he had watched a documentary about the band,
Was it?
ABBA,
Yeah.
like a Norwegian.
What the are we talking about right now?
And he told me to watch this documentary because it's about how tour ruined their marriages and their lives.
Paige is struggling, and this
Yeah.
man is like, "Hey, watch this to prove."
I was
that
like, I
I'm
just
right.
got a beta blocker prescription, but thank you so much for the nightly TV watch. I mean, looking back on it now, yeah, probably from the jump, did we have great communication? Probably not. I think Craig very much gave me like because I am more straightforward and stern and I don't sugarcoat as much, it was like, you're harsh.
My career is way different than when we met. And I don't feel bad about that.
So like that's a little unfair. That's not saying I'm not happy for your new life. I just want to know how I fit into it.
But I can also say how I feel.
Yeah, but it makes me not want to bring stuff up to you sometimes because I'm like, she's gonna think this is an attack or that I'm not rooting for her. It's really not. How do we have like status check-ins or a year-end review or something?
I'll give you a yearly review.
Okay.
I'll let you know if you're fired or not.
So I would kind of have to stay more quiet when he would voice his opinions because he would always take it as like a personal attack. So yeah, him voicing his opinion that he wants to be prioritized above my career, he knows that even if I marry you, my kids are gonna come before you anyway, so like you'll always be third. Like whoever I marry will always be third.
And once you got Daphne, it's fourth.
Yeah, so
And he needs to be
number one.
And you had said you're doing what you've always wanted to do.
Like everything I'm doing in this next year is what I wanted since I was 5 years old.
Like, I'm so excited for you.
Do you think Craig maybe had a different version of you in his head?
Who knows?
I'd love to know.
I'd love to meet her. Who freaking knows?
Is she nice?
Because like here's the
Is she
other
funny?
thing. Like sometimes he'd be like, you know, you're like you talk really dirty on your podcast or like you swear like whatever. So I don't think he like really, you know.
Do you feel like you had an open line of communication with him?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like I could always say whatever I wanted to him. I mean, yeah.
You did.
I don't like hot tubs. They breed bacteria.
But it's our hot tub.
I'm susceptible to urinary tract infections. I'm only 31. Sometimes, I'm not gonna lie, sometimes you make me feel like I'm 75.
But did you ever hold back, like,
No.
no, well, not, girl, I know.
Yeah, there
Like
were
walking on
times like when
eggshells.
things would happen in my career. Would I tell him? No, absolutely not. Like when I would like get certain milestones. No, I wouldn't tell him because I knew he would want to be happy for me, but I knew deep down he would not be. So no, I just like wouldn't say certain things. I feel like when I know I met my husband, I'll want to call him before I want to call my dad, and I haven't met anyone like that yet. So no.
You probably had never gone that long in your adult life, like not having sex.
I haven't had sex since last summer.
What?
Yeah.
Well, I have, clearly.
If you walk outside every day for a year, it'll just like happen at least. It's New York. Like if the wind blows, I feel like two people will bump into each other.
Yeah,
and
you
kinda
just like trip and fall.
Someone usually the guy.
I want to say if that actually happened, I'd probably keep that to myself.
You had to beat the shit out of me for
Honey,
that
I was
information.
shocked.
Yeah, I wasn't always that comfortable telling people. And even looking back, saying it, I cringe at it.
Like my palms would be just, I guess, just worn out or something.
Breaking off an engagement f***s you up, but if I don't know, if I called my engagement off, I'd be in the streets.
I don't know why that's our problem to feel bad about him.
It was part of a healing journey. He told me that. Because he was, Guys, I actually had a lot of deep conversations with like everyone.
Damn. Okay, Lexi, take us to school.
So what he told me was that he hadn't been a full year sober when him and Lindsay decided to start to date, but he knew that that was really important, so he kind of almost like redid it, where he was like, okay, after Lindsay, I want to be like a full year without a relationship so I can really like heal, work on myself, and like...
Well, now I feel bad.
It almost sounds like I'm trying to be like, get people to feel sorry for me or something. And like, that's not at all what I'm trying to do.
For me, not that it was like a little cry for help, but I felt like you wanted some of your boys to just give you a little push.
The boys were really, I mean, helpful, just giving me confidence.
Can we get a jingle for Carl's wiener getting some action today?
His wiener? What?
I was struggling with how to like navigate it, honestly. Like, I assumed most people when I'd walk into a room were like, oh, there's that guy that broke up with Lindsay. Like, I just thought that. But over time, I realized not everybody knew that and no one actually cared for the most part. I dated a little bit, but I'm telling you, like, when you are in a relationship, in a serious one, like, it was hard for me to flip the switch, and like, the last person I'd been with was Lindsay. And like, it just was hard to like break out of that, and we were reliving all of this breakup all last spring. Like, I wasn't gonna go out on a date on a Wednesday night and our show's airing where I'm still engaged on television.
The entire world is on a different timeline. So it's like, how are you supposed to be out and about going on dates when like that's the current reality for people that are watching?
I'll give you even crazier. Our reality. Kyle, Amanda, me, Lindsay, and her Turner were at a wedding in Portugal. And now later learning she was pregnant. And then the show is airing that evening. And on the show, Lindsay and I are engaged. It was just nuts.
By that time, I was 7 to 8 weeks pregnant.
With your boyfriend carrying his baby.
My baby.
Your baby.
That he helped me with.
Your baby. With your ex-fiance.
Yeah, and that was a week before we taped the reunion. That was a hard... Yeah, that was hard.
It was just a crazy circumstantial situation, but it's just you can't understand it until you live it.
Like, it wasn't a normal time for me to really explore, but it's weird as like a 39-year-old guy to kind of admit I've been known as a boy and like a womanizer. Now it's like genuinely, like, for the right reasons, have taken some time and pause, and as I say it out loud, it just sounds like I sound like a loser, and like, I don't know. I'm glad I said it, but it felt weird to kind of admit something like that when anybody who's really known me previously is like, aren't you like a total piece of shit with women and like have done nothing but have sex? And now here you are.
The other thing too, though, Carl and Lindsay had like, their sex life was like really off the rails in a bad way.
How often are you having sex?
Some people have motor.
We've got motor.
He's just trying to figure stuff out, you know? I don't know.